Good morning and welcome back to a glorious day in Ipswich. Monika and I have the morning off, so we're going to head off to a beautiful little town we went to around about a month ago. And I want to show you this town because it's so beautiful, but also I want to take you back and tell you a little bit of history about piracy and obscene wealth. So we'll take you there in a little bit, but I want to give you an update first. 3 bikes. Where shall I start? Royal Enfield. So I've had it for it's got to be about 2 weeks now, I think, 2 weeks or so. And just yesterday evening, I sent Royal Enfield a message because they gave it open-ended. So incredibly kind of them. Really, without Royal Enfield, I don't know what I'd do. In fact, some people think I'm sponsored by them, but I've never had a penny from them. I just love them. I messaged them yesterday and said, thank you so much. You can take the bike back whenever you're ready because I've got another bike coming in a couple of days' time. So this may well be the last week or so with the Royal Enfield Classic 350. So I need to soak in the last few days with that bike. 2 days' time, on Friday, I'm picking up, I was about to say it, an Italian bike. This will be only the second of this brand of Italian bike that I'll ever have ridden, and the first ever new bike from this brand I'll ever have ridden. It's a huge gap in the kind of bikes that I've ridden. Massive, massive gap.
Do you want to just say it? I think you gave too much away.
I've given too much away. What is a cool retro Italian bike? New retro. That's enough. So that's coming. In fact, that's not coming. They won't drop it off, interestingly, so I have to go and pick it up 2¼ hours away. Final thing, Triumph Bonneville. What can I say? The gasket arrived. I'll give you a full rundown when I actually pick it up of exactly what happened in the timelines. But the gasket arrived last week. In fact, 2 of them did. Now with the mechanic, but there's a backlog with the mechanic, so he's just trying to squeeze it in as soon as possible. But he's got the part. So fingers crossed that'll be sorted out as soon as possible. And apart from that, this is Applaud Coffee, Applaud Cafe. And if you're ever in Ipswich, pan over there a little bit, Monika, if you don't mind. It's a beautiful little courtyard, right in, very near the centre of Ipswich, about 3 minutes that way. Go and have a wander around. I can actually do a bit of voiceover on top. You see lovely vine trees there. Grapevines, I should say, and the little cafe just to that side. Beautiful old building. And the courtyard goes all the way through here with beautiful bricks wall. And it's a proper sun trap. This is a lovely little kind of newly discovered spot for us about a year ago or so. Sorry, Monika very nearly tripped over a table. We only found this about a year ago. Tiny old little building. You wouldn't guess it expands this much outside. Highly recommended.
And coffee is amazing.
Some of the best in Ipswich, I think.
Yes.
You may remember, it was probably about 4 videos ago or so, I went in to buy, it's quite heavy actually, I went in to buy some thread and a bit of material because Monika and I want to start making a few things for bikers and maybe for people on a wider market just than biking. So I bought some thread, I did a rough outline of a product that we want to make. Happy with the rough outline. So we've now bought this, a Singer sewing machine. This isn't for me to sew with. Luckily, Monika's mum is experienced at sewing and making garments and things like that. So this Singer sewing machine is for Rasa to hopefully, maybe at some point in the next 2 to 3 days, make our first prototype of our first product. So, well, Monika and I are hugely excited.
Very excited.
Really excited. Cannot wait to see how it works out. We've got some a selection of different fabrics that will be arriving within the next day or two, I think, so we can see the quality of the fabric, see what it's like. But ideally, if it works, we're going to be making a few products, designed, made, everything, right here in Ipswich. Monika, can you, I don't know what you'll do, you have to maybe balance it like that for half a mile or something.
Yeah,
It's
it'll be fine.
a bit bigger and heavier than I thought, so I don't know if it will squeeze in between us or not.
I could
Give
just
it a-
walk home.
Jump on the bike, it's fine. That's the beauty of these bikes. These bikes were made to carry families and many, many items on them, so we'll figure it out. That's the beauty of Royal Enfields.
Okay, let's go.
Welcome to Long Melford. I'll do a bit of a tour of the high street out there because the high street outside is the longest high street in the UK. Before I did that, we got a bit overexcited. We went straight into an antique shop, and here, Long Melford, it is the definition of old money. We've just had a quick overview by one of the antique shop owners of this really impressive antique store, and they have antiques dating all the way back from the 1600s. I could go on, so I won't do a full tour, but just have a look at some of the quality of the stuff here. Plenty of bits here are 500, 400 years old or so. And everything here looks like it's been taken straight out of a National Trust house. It's an unbelievable selection of antiques. And get ready for the high street as well. And then the next bit we're going to, because every single building and house looks like it would be the type of place that's full of this kind of furniture. This antique store gives you a phenomenally good idea about the kind of wealth that's been in Long Melford over the past probably 600 years or so. Some of the stuff's incredible. This is an incredibly rare, if not unique, Chinese sculpture from about 150 years ago. Priced at around about £12,500. It could be unique, they say it's that rare. I mean, the stuff in here, and this is more oriental and from places around the world in this room at the back. It's phenomenal, phenomenal. Some of the pieces. And everything has a story. They've got little pieces of paper or card telling you about the story, how old they are, where they're from. The care that's gone into every piece is incredible. history here is incredible. We could have picked any number of pubs or cafes to pop into, and all of them look like they've got a story. We picked here the Bull, which is right on the edge of the 2.5 mile long high street, which extends that way. And then the village green, where we'll go to next, is right next to us here on the left-hand side. But this, built 1450, probably for a wealthy wool merchant, because this area of Suffolk, around about 500-600 years ago or so, and stretching back even further, became obscenely rich due to the wool trade. And this has been an inn of some kind, an inn, a pub, since about 1580. So it's kept its current status as a pub and inn for around about 500 years. Can I say one other interesting fact? You'll see from the outside, what we just saw here, all the beautiful wood on the outside. Up until about 100 years or so ago, this was brick covered, and they were doing some renovations, took off the brick on the outside and realised all of the beautiful wood. So this is the original wood from over 500 years or so ago, and that's why it's been so well preserved. It's incredible. Long Melford must have been at its peak when the money was just pouring in like you cannot imagine. It must have been like the olden day version of Dubai, I imagine. Right at the entrance they've got a little plaque with a bit of the history of the pub and the inn. And it says here that in 1648, a well-to-do yeoman of Melford was attacked and killed at the entrance hall, and his assailant was convicted of murder and executed. One other thing. In coaching days, the Bull pub here was the principal posting house of the town along a stoppage path for London, Bury St Edmunds and Norwich coaches. So you can imagine coming from Norwich to London, Bury St Edmunds and Long Melford in the middle, just going back and forth and doing their trade and stuff. But the history, what these walls must have seen. Okay, Monika said I cannot turn this into a history lesson, so I'm going to be as quick as possible. I'm not surprised by this. In 2020, Long Melford was voted Britain's 7th most desirable village because it's beautiful. Melford Hall over here, where Monika and I went about a month ago, and we will show you this maybe in another video, but we just don't have time today. That was built around about 500 years ago. About 100 years after it was built, the family that bought it is, to the best of my knowledge, still the family that owns the building, and they made colossal amounts of money, in essence, as pirates, marauding, going along the east coast of colonial America at the time. So America down to around about the Caribbean, when the British government signed off for these privateers to legally be able to go attack Spanish ships, loot it, take what they want, pay a bit of tax to the British government, and in essence keep the seas free of Spanish ships. So if you go into that house, you'll see a huge amount of luxury items robbed from Spanish ships around about 300 years ago. And behind us, 550-year-old church built, I think, from wool money, and a 450-year-old hospital that was originally built for just 12 men and 2 women. Long Melford in 2 minutes. We underestimated how much there was to explore here, so I almost feel like we're cutting the video early because I still want to show loads of other bits, but we'll have to do it in segments, I think, because I'd go on and on. I had a call from Royal Enfield and they're picking it up tomorrow at 11 AM, and I'll hugely miss the bike. I won't do a proper video with my final thoughts on it, but it is an incredibly easy bike to live with. Long distances of no issue at all. 2-up riding, no issue at all. Monika, she will very happily go 45 minutes on this bike 2-up. This was 45 minutes away. And it's not most bikes that Monika would do that with, so I like this even more now than I did when I first got it. I'll show one thing before I forget as well. Boots, these are brand new from Ride & Sons. I'll put a link in the description because I've forgotten the name of the exact model. I think I'll write it here, but very nice stealth comfortable all-day boots with genuine stitching all the way around, heavy-duty boots. So if you're in the market for a new set of boots, this is the first I've been wearing them, but they feel extremely comfortable. So far, highly recommended.
Very similar to TCX boots.
They are, because TCX discontinued the X-Blend, my old boots that look almost identical, so these now are a perfect replacement for that. Long Melford. Monika, thumbs up?
Yes, very nice.
It's one of the prettiest villages I've ever been. Loads of good places to eat, brilliant coffee shops, 2 huge country house estates that you can visit. Take your pick between each one, and you could even come and stay the night. There's so much to see, so I cannot recommend it highly enough here. We'll wrap it up. Thank you so much everyone for coming along. We'll see you all in the next one.